Welcome to the House of Time. I'm Nick of Time,
And I am G Time.
and while we're setting up our new setup here, came across this video, and I just wanted to respond to him.
What you got, man?
What's his name? King Kong Consciousness, Chad Shannon, Terrell, and Tay Bunny Hoppin'.
And we're going to talk about that movie, a brief movie review within the context of deconstructing the ridiculous comments that was made by our brother Shannon Sharp and Chad Johnson. So, brother Chad Johnson, you claimed, my good brother Chad Johnson, you claim that love is love. Brother Chad said love is love. Ocho Cinco said love is love. So, brother Chad, I have to ask you, my dear brother, if you believe love is love, why are most interracial marriages involving black men? If love is love, why are most interracial marriages involving black men? Why do most of them generally consist of a black man with means and a non-black woman of lower means? If love is love, why do we see a consistent slant and disproportionality between black men and their non-black spouses? If love is...
You know the answer to his question?
What is that?
The answer to his question is black chicks don't really like broke people. That's like it's a whole thing. Like,
How many black chicks have you asked that?
or like, it's grown because like to get the type of black chick you would want, because like, yeah, you could just like get like any black chick, but just like you get any girl, but like to get like pick of the crop, you kind of have to like move in their direction some. But like when you're making money, you have to stay in your direction, or like your money falls off. It's hard to find a girl that's like with you. Black girls especially, because they always want to do their own thing. But
You should say in your experience.
in my experience, it really just branches out to all girls, because like when you're trying to move in a let me see what you're saying again. Okay, so I'll say in my experience, because like most like cream of the crop girls, like, yeah, you like, unless you're like just that guy, but usually that guy isn't the guy making it to the NFL, making it rich. Usually like the popular guy who can get the girls. Usually he's a people person. He's not a thing person. Like he might be good at a thing, but like
Yeah.
more of a people person. So like these people who get rich, the people around them are usually just people who are around them, which isn't just like black people of lower means. Like white people of lower means will hang out with you, but black people, oh, I don't know.
Well, see, from what I've seen growing up, particularly, it was very hard and this is up north, New York. It was hard for a black male during our age
You keep talking.
getting with a good looking white female, because it seemed like every time we would try, it seemed like from what everybody would say is that they're off limits. They're off limit to the black male.
See, but in my experience, it's like white girls are no longer like a taboo. Like it's not like I mean, yeah, there are some girls where their parents will get at you, but like them themselves, like no, in your group, like no one cares. Like everyone's just a person. But like white girls will attach to you more. At least in my experience, black girls will like pull you. Like they want you to be more like. I mean, granted, this is generalization, but white girls like more, and will get into more like just like everything, whereas like black girls will like they are them and they don't want to change. Like on me, I'll stick my way, and that's the attitude of most black chicks. So like when you're moving, like you don't care about like oh I want to go shop, I want to hang out with my girls. Like I don't care about that. Like I'm trying to move, and you're doing stuff that like I got to think about. You're taking up mental space. Like I don't want to deal with that. So I feel like most of the girls these days that like a rich person who likes to move is accepting of, most of them want to be black because like black girls are very in their way. Like maybe if you got like I don't know.
Well, I can hear some of what you're saying, and that is so. Where you said, the things I've come across growing up through life, I would see a very good looking white girl back in the day, teenager times when we were all in our teens. We were all teens. I wasn't old time, but we were all teens. But for some reason, they would not date no black guys. But the only white girls that would date black guys were overweight or didn't look that good. And those are the ones that black guys could get with. And for some reason, that's just how that. I mean, if you grew up during that time in the 80s, 90s, that's basically how it was until the culture started blending more together. Yeah. Now, when I'm looking at younger, middle schoolers and high schoolers, I might see a black guy and I'm like, man, that black guy look dirty. Don't look like he bathed or nothing. But he has the best looking girl in high school. And it's baffling. And he ain't got no money. And he not no athlete. He just a dude. But I see now, but their cultures are blending to the point where they have a whole lot more in common, where she wants to learn what he knows and he wants to learn what she knows, versus when I was growing up, we tend to just like stick to what we knew. And I realized that once I started broadening that, and this one happened when I got in the military, when I started broadening my horizons, the different foods changed, the music, entertainment, everything changed when I started trying to learn other people's culture and what everybody else is doing versus just sticking with just mine. Because there are some people that say, hey, this is our culture, I'm black culture, that's it. Black till I die, and they don't want to learn anything.
That's why I personally don't want to stay in black. Like I would date an African girl, but I want to date a black girl. It's like a black's like a concept. It's not like yeah, like our skin's brown. Like it's like the concept of like being a brown skinned person in America. It's not like African. Like that's a place where like the heritage just naturally flowed into it. Like
now, where would you find an African that you would date? You just search out. I know they got stuff online.
I went over to your alma mater. Or did you graduate from Oakwood?
No, I attended, but I didn't.
Yeah, they got a lot of African chicks over there. I delivered pizza over there one time. And heard a lot of different accents. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, a lot of Bermudians, Jamaicans. Yeah,
it's like. Unless like it's like a grassroots thing, like this is my homegirl from the jump. It's like, what can you offer? Like, it's not like you can teach me anything. Like, 'cause we probably have the same upbringing, probably think the same. It's not like meeting you would like adapt to my life. Like, it's not like you're gonna start cooking in my life. We probably both eat the same, like, eat out, don't cook. But like when you get to different cultures, it's like, oh, you think that way for this reason, then you can like build upon each other.
And I mean, you can do that within the same culture. I mean, it's like, with me and your mother, how we were when we high school sweethearts, and the way we was being reared, and the paths we chose to take. We enjoyed life at that time, but then once, I joined the military, your mother still wanted to stay the way we were. I didn't realize at the time. I thought it was her that changed, because I was like, why ain't you doing this stuff? But it was actually me who changed. I didn't know that till like, years later that, man, she didn't, that was the problem. And you can only find out that if you, talk to the counselor, and that's what we ended up doing for a little bit. Then I kept going, and that's when I realized that I was the one that changed, because I started trying to learn more. Whenever we would go to Alaska, I want to know, what do Alaskans do. I wanted to get out, but your mother always wanted to stick to, okay, where's Burger King? Where's McDonald's? What we grew up with. Versus me saying, oh, they got halibut up here? Oh, salmon? Okay, let me see. And I wanted to do more. And so she's looking at me like, what's wrong with you? And I'm looking at her like, what's wrong with you? And then that's where the divide came. And when you're not going the same way, like you were saying, things fall apart. I got to the point everywhere we would go, even Hawaii and England, I would find people in their culture, and they would ask about American culture. I asked about European culture. Then we would just vibe like that, and that's how we became more friends. So most of my friends were from the people of the area where I was at. It wasn't black. It wasn't even typically white. It was just the people that was in that area, and everybody that liked and wanted to learn that, that's where we went to. So when we would have parties, we played music. I mean, we played everything from hip hop to country to rock and roll, and that's why I'm so versed with different types of music, because I listen to everything. I didn't just stick just to hip hop the way I was. Now that's my first love, but I do enjoy all genres of music. So when it comes to dating white people, or guys dating white, I really don't care. I mean, you're gonna love who you love. If you ever walk in the same path, then that's cool. Just you gotta cut out all the outside sources, because it's still the world.
I'm gonna change my answer to his question. It's not that black guys are choosing white or non-black chicks. It's that it's just a situation. Like he noticed it, so he thinks it's like a thing. But like, it's just situationally. Like, if you're a sports person and you look around, if you're like natural sports places, you're not gonna see black chicks that you want. I mean, you might, but like usually they're taken. Like, most black chicks that like they handle themselves, they usually get taken up pretty fast. So like, if you're like up there like at college and you're playing football and you look around and like you got like cheerleaders, healer people, all those people are like good looking. I guess you might be. I usually see white chicks. I never see any black chicks. I see Mexican chicks, but I never see any black chicks like just like around sports. So like just naturally,
no.
It just like,
unless they're participating,
yeah,
or have a boyfriend, but they're not just hanging to be hanging. It's with a purpose.
It's like it just naturally like, oh, there's a cute girl there. So like it seems like, oh, I'm grabbing black guys are grabbing white chick, but they're just there. So situationally, they're might be grabbing them.
Yeah, not to cut you off, but I guess I did. But talking about Dr. Umar Johnson, from what he was saying, Pan African, Congo. I can't remember what he called himself, his little handle, but yeah, Dr. Umar Johnson. Yeah, I like hearing him talk, but the thing is, you have some of the things he speak about. He really just saying his opinion on how he feels. He will never be able to understand what Shannon Sharp and all them that date white girls are. He will never understand that, because he doesn't do that. I'm not I don't drive trucks. I don't see the fascination in driving a truck. I don't like the railroad driving or the best. I don't like that. I like what I like. But when I talk to somebody who drives trucks, they would try to convince me and tell me how, well, man, these trucks, this. And I'm trying to tell him from my knowledge of SUVs and cars, which has nothing to do with trucks. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to argue something I know nothing about. So I'm saying, man, well, your truck, man, this. And he's like, you never had a truck. I'm trying to tell you, if you had a truck, you could see what I'm talking about. And so that's how arguments happen. So with this guy talking about white women, he can only have a true argument if he dated white women. Yeah. He can't just date black women and then get on somebody date white women and say, man, you wrong because this. He doesn't know. And that's what I said about broadening out, his views on things. from my opinion, are skewed for the fact of just what he knows.
Yeah. That's the thing about black culture. That's why I try to stay away from it. Because, like, it's like...
Reverse racism.
No, because, like, it's... Because black culture isn't supposed to be, like, a thing. It's supposed to just be. Like, it's not black culture to go to the club. It's me and my homies want to go hang out and get some drinks. And their homies also want to hang out and get some drinks. And there's a place for us both to do that. And we just both happen to be black. So that's where the culture comes from. But it's not like a thing. It's not black culture. Like, if you're black, you don't got to go to the club. It's just a thing that happens. And that's why, like, black culture is weird to me. Because, like, it strayed from what it used to be. Like, you're just being you and your homies and, like, your environment. You just, like, move into it. And it's become like, oh, you have to be this to be this.
And I think, like, you're doing basically what Dr. Umar Johnson's doing, for the fact of, if you think about it, you never had a bunch of black dudes that you hung out with that you went and did a lot of black things with, and it was just y'all. You've always had, your white guys with you, your white girls with you, and a couple blacks here. I don't even know if you had Hispanics around or not, but
I don't think I ever had a Hispanic friend.
Because see, when
Las Vegas, I did.
Because see, when I was your age, I went to an all black school. That's all we talked about was black stuff. Before I went to that school, I was at an all white school. So that's why I was like in the mid '80s. That's why I picked up most of the rock and roll and stuff. The soft rock now they call it now, with Bon Jovi and Guns N' Roses, all that. Because I went to all white school. That's all they listened to. I still listen to my hip hop and everything, but everybody loved Michael Jackson. Everybody loved Prince, Whitney Houston, so all the culture. So we had that. So I've been to like some of the friends that was in the hood, and I'll go hang with them in the hood and everything, and then get up out of there before night. But anyway, and hang with them. So I had that. Then I hang with some of the guys that live in the suburbs that were black, and then some of the white people that live in the suburbs. But now you can't even say suburbs is strictly white anymore, because everybody's mixed everywhere. Yeah. You could be living right next door to somebody that's on. You could have paid $500,000 for your house, and living right next door to somebody who it's a HUD house. They paying $100 a month for their house because they're on public assistance. So I'll be making a lot of money, and the neighbor might not be making hardly nothing at all. That's how it is now. It's not like, so you can't. Typically people say when the white people was in the cities, Atlanta, New York, all these, they was in the cities, and then when black people started coming up, getting a little more rights, they started moving to the cities. So white folks moved out. They went out to the suburbs. Y'all could have the city, and they went out to the suburbs. But then it got to the point when the black people got tired of that, and they started making money. They was like, well, we want to live good like they live out there in the suburbs. I don't want to get robbed either. So they start moving out to the suburbs. So now you got all the white people in the suburbs gentrifying. That's where gentrification come. All the stuff that black folks did in the city, they gentrified it, and now they all moving right back, and they bumped the prices up higher, where the black folks that's out there can't come back because it's out of their reach. That's why downtown is so expensive now, because they gentrified it, bumped everything up, and all the people that was out there, now the white folks, they move back. So it's like they just keep going back and forth. Then it got to the point where Republicans and Democrats, they do their things, and then they start, they got all these vouchers now. So if you are public assistance, you get vouchers. So you might get vouchers to be in this type of house, and then you add to it, it could bump it up to another type of house. So now you could be in the city or you could be in the suburbs if that voucher, if they have those houses in the area. So that's why you go, that's why they have them HOAs to try to weed out some of the people who don't really take care of, like the old neighborhood, we didn't have an HOA. So you walk down the street and this guy got a car parked on his front lawn on blocks. Now, it's an eyesore, but it's his yard. Yeah. And I can't tell him to move it because that's his yard. But if you have an HOA, they have rules. Now, where we live now, we have rules. So if we start letting the weeds grow crazy, or I'm got my car leaking oil and coming in the driveway, they will come and say, hey, man, you got to clean it up or we're going to fine you. Ain't nobody going to get fined. So, hey, man, you leaking oil, go out in the street and leak it. Because that's public domain. But that's just how if you're not willing to learn, you'll be stuck in that. That's why the guys in the ghetto that don't get outside the ghetto, they love the ghetto and they preach the ghetto to the day they die. Man, I've been on these corners. My dad go that. That's just what they know. That's what they're used to. I'm not saying anything wrong with it, but that's not for me. But that's for them. The same as I had a friend, cousin of mine, passed away years ago. He wasn't even from the ghetto. His mom wasn't. His father was. But he loved living, in the streets. I used to hang with him, going there at home. And, during the 80s, seeing what was going on, 90s, seeing what was going on. And then when I joined the military and I moved, and then I came back and moved in the suburbs of, Loganville area. And he came out one weekend, the visit came down. He didn't get to Loganville, but he got to, I think it was Decatur, somewhere out there or something. And went over there to his cousin on the other side of the family. And the dude couldn't sleep. He was here for like 4 or 5 days. He couldn't sleep. And I was like, man, what's going on with you? He said, dang, man, it's just scary out here. It was so scary from him because being out there in Decatur, Georgia, where the house was and stuff, there was no ambulance. When the sun went down, it was just total silence. And it freaked him out because he couldn't hear anything. He's like, man, somebody sneaking around it. And it used to baffle us. Because he was used to all the guns firing and dudes on the street. Yo, man, give me that 40. He was used to hearing that 24 hours a day. And that made him rest because he knew what was going on. The sirens of the ambulance and the police cars, he was used to all that. And then when he go out there, down south and moved out there, then he's like, it freaked him out. So that's like a form of PTSD that they're picking up now that, kids go around and, they get thrown and stuff like that. And it's hard for them to cope. With him, he's an adult, so he can go back and forth. But then when he started visiting more and more, start learning what that silence was about, then next thing you know, he want to go hunting and, yeah, man, go do all. I know you could shoot animals with these guns. We ain't got to shoot people.
See, I think where most of human problems come from is the human culture of putting things in boxes. Like, that thing is that thing, and it has to be that thing and nothing else. Because, it's like black culture, like the words black culture describe, black people in America, the things they do.
Yeah.
So instead of like that, like black culture just like describing what like the things we do, they'll try to make it like black culture is the things they do instead of like describing like it's supposed to encapsulate everything, like all the random stuff we do, as opposed to just saying that's what we do. And like, I forgot what there's something you said that made me start saying that. But a lot of, if we just let things be, oh yeah, PTSD. Like, instead of going, it's like, with like, in war, like there's like sounds and stuff. So like, physically it'll like bring back the memories and you can't really stop that. But like if you just like allow yourself, like, I was in a war zone, so yeah, those noises meant something. But like now I'm at home, if something happens, I'm at home. There's a noise doesn't have to mean a bomb. A noise is just a noise. You just contextualize everything as opposed to like making a thing that thing.
Well, yeah, that's what PTSD is. For the most part, is not being able to identify what you're going through. So, like in a war zone, when you hearing the gunfires and being over there myself, it took a little bit to get used to because typically when you're in the city and you hear gunfire, it's real close. And it's coming from anywhere it's coming from all sides of you. So you got to really, take cover. But in the war zone, there's always a front and a back. They're always in front of you the way everything is strategically placed. Yeah. They'll never get behind us unless we're actually, we'll never get behind them. We're always going to be face to face, basically. Yeah. So when we do hear gunfire, it's always coming from one way. Wars nowadays, it's always coming from one way, and you know where it's at and you know what it is. So once you get used to hearing that, it's like fireworks. When fireworks, no matter who it is, whenever fireworks first start, everybody jumps because they don't know where it's coming from. They don't know where it's at. Once they identify where it's at, then everybody's comfortable now. But if they shoot one behind that, everybody going to, oh man, and they're going to jump because it's unidentifiable. But once they can, so that's why when he came out to the country and it was quiet, he couldn't identify what the quietness was. Why is it quiet? I can't grasp that concept of why it's quiet. And the dude used to gunfire when in the military. He used to call it gunshot and everything. When he comes to America, I shouldn't hear these sounds anymore because that was overseas. I shouldn't hear them now. So when I hear it, he's like, well, who the heck is doing that? And that's what freaks people out. That's why, especially firecrackers, when people gunshot and everything, that stuff happened because firecrackers are never in rhythm. They're always, even when you have a long line of them, there's always like a little off. It's not like and it's done.
Yeah.
And and that's how most of the random stuff, gunfire, when it's automatic, it's da 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 da, constant. It's not like yeah. So when that happens, it freaks people out that don't I can't identify that. So that's what that PTSD, man, basically for anybody from that part of it.
What'd you say his name was? Dr. Umar?
Dr. Umar Johnson.
It would be cool to get him on the podcast because, like, I'm curious because, like, I don't believe anybody is, like, actually, like, just, like, I call crazy, but, like, I don't think anybody's actually stuck in their ways. They just, like, well, they have, like, reasons for it.
Yeah.
And, like,
I won't say he's stuck in his ways, but he is more or less, his teachings, I mean, he's got a school and everything, man. Yeah. He's a psychiatrist, all that stuff. School, psychiatrist stuff. But basically, his way is, he doesn't downplay, well, he lets you know how he feels about everybody, but his main focus is black people. That's his main focus. So it's like when I'm a coach, and if I'm a coach, and you say, well, if you're a coach, you should be able to coach all sports because you're basically coaching people, and using their talents and gifts to further the team along. But if I say I'm a football coach, my main focus is football. I know there's other sports out there, but football is my thing. So whenever we talk, I'm always relating everything to football. And you like, Dad, man, we talking soccer. Yeah, but seeing soccer, they may use the feet, but seeing football, when you kicking the ball, you still got to kick. And that's how he is. He's pro-black. So no matter whatever you talk about, he gonna bring it back to what he's about. And he don't want to listen. He don't want to listen to nothing that you have to say if it doesn't pertain to what he's trying to get across. From what I've seen on the videos. But like I said, I like hearing him talking. He's very knowledgeable, and what he says does make sense.
Yeah, but
it's not for everyone.
It's just weird to me that, like, because, like, blacks, like, yeah, it's a thing, but it's not actually a thing. Like, for brown-skinned people, like, it's circumstantially stuff that we classify. Yeah. And, like, he took that classification and made it his thing, and that's what's weird to me. Yeah, it's like, because, like, he's gonna exclude people because they're slightly less brown.
No, like what he's trying to do is he's trying to bring. That's why I would say Pan-African. He's trying to bring the African. He's trying to bring us back to what we were supposed to be, what we were before we got here. Is what he's trying to pull us from. Because he's saying we're getting too commercialized. Everything is, like I said, all the cultures are blending now. Where you can't really get to a point now. You can't really say it's black culture because everybody do it. It used to be just black rappers, but now we got a bunch of white rappers, and they just as good as black. So you can't really, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day, we had pop was the population of music of blending different colors. You couldn't say if you was a pop artist, you could be any color. But whenever you heard somebody say R&B, hip hop, it was just black. Whenever you heard country or you heard rock and roll, it was just white. Then they said, well, we had some black rock and rollers, and then that thing go. But everybody had their own genre per se.
Yeah.
You know, grunge music. Oh, that's got the white guys, man, like getting out there and getting, you know, down and dirty with their music and stuff. You know, and so he's saying everything is blended to a point where you can go to any genre now, any color will be involved. And they're taking songs just like we remix our songs. Country people remix just like the country guy, he went through it a while ago, which is funny because when Tracy Chapman made Fast Car, you got a fast car. When she made it, I mean, it was commercial success. It was pretty decent. I mean, I didn't particularly like that song she made, but it was one that was played all the time. It did its thing. She toured with it, and it went away. But then when he redid it, he made so much. He made way more money with her song than she did. But she still gets a royalty for it because it's her song. But everybody has something to say about it because he did that. But there's a lot of songs that's cross genres, from country to rock, and then the R&B, and then gospel over to R&B and soul. So everybody mixed up, and then hip hop just put it all together. House music did the same thing. So that it was. It's all about, my thing is all about, you know, enjoying life and learning and serving. Learning and serving. Because whether you believe in God or not, our sole purpose, our only purpose really, on earth is to serve. Every job, everything, this podcast, everything we do is to serve. We're trying to serve somebody by putting these videos out for them to watch it. We're serving them. The people that make technology, they're serving somebody else. When you're delivering pieces to people, you're serving somebody. It's not just waiters and waitresses at restaurants. Every job is serving a purpose. It's serving somebody. There's nobody. The only person that's you could say that's not serving somebody, and if I think about it, I probably could figure it out, is the person that lives off the grid and by themselves, like out in the woods. So you know how they pull themselves off the grid and they just do everything themselves.
I think the purpose of life is just do what you want, and just naturally that will bring about everything else. Because like the problem with the world today is we don't do what we want. We do what we can for money to do what we want, and that it seems like we're still doing what we want because like we're getting money, then we do what we want. But it shifted what we're actually doing in life because like he wants us to get back to African roots, but like in Africa, they don't wake up, go to work. They wake up, tend their fields, and then they got time for the rest of the day. Or I don't know, you know, lots of different stuff in Africa, but they wake up, take care of themselves to keep themselves alive. And then once that's done, they have all this free time to like, that's when all the dancing and stuff comes about because they secured their living and now they do their extra stuff. And then that's when the culture comes about because they have free time. But like now, like we do stuff for money and like that period of time that we're taking, it's supposed to secure the rest of your time so you can do whatever you want. But it doesn't secure the rest of your time. It secures part of your time, or it just secures that with the rest of the time you can do other things.
The time is noon. Currently in Huntsville, it's 70 degrees and sunny. Today, it'll be mostly sunny with a forecasted high of 74 and a low of 48.
It's gonna be cold, but yeah. So like you work, and then when you get out of work, yeah, you have the money to do what you want, but now you have to think about, oh, what I do for food. Oh, I gotta go buy food, and I gotta cook it, and then I want to do so and so after this. It's as opposed to that whole time like you're working, like that whole 8 hours. That's time you could have got your food, cooked it, ate it, and like had the energy. And the rest of the day, you just do whatever you want.
And that's what I'm saying. Those, you might want to live off the grid because
I don't believe off the grid because it's not the grid that's the problem. It's money that's the problem. Because like imagine if like we're all here, like Imagine if whoever we all pay money to just disappeared, right? The world would still run, but there would be we just have to like pick up different spots as to where the money was like holding it apart. Because like there are electricians who they don't mind waking up and fixing electricity every day because they like electricity. Like that's what they do. So like they wake up and there's a problem with electricity. They don't mind going and fixing it. But like what money brings about is like they have to get up and do it and like
because
like,
that's what the United States is built on. That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying we should destroy it.
No, that's what I'm saying. So I understand what you're saying, but the things that how you feel you want to live, this isn't the place for you. You have to find a place.
I'm gonna make this my place. That's the thing.
But
I'm not like the rest of you humans. I'm gonna change this world one way or another. But like
to change this world, you have to. I'm gonna tell you this much. And this may not help you in any way of what you're thinking, but the world is set up the way it is, and it has to run this way until things are changed. And it could change. You never know. I mean, who thought the world would be shut down by COVID? You know, that was some sci-fi stuff. You never thought that would happen, and it happened.
See,
stay in the house. You know, but the thing what I'm saying is, and I'll pull out my homeboy Trump. Now in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, Trump was really big. He was, had the Trump towers, all that stuff. Everybody loved Trump. Black, white, Hispanic, everybody loved him. He got pictures with all the celebrities. Everybody, big up to Donald Trump. They have rappers. And if you don't believe me, you could Google it. They have a lot of rappers that made songs bigging up Trump, saying how big, I want to be the black Trump. And everybody, they have, prominent rappers talk about how good Trump was and all this stuff and all that stuff. And because of, all the stuff he's doing. Then The Apprentice came and everybody, you're fired. Everybody, that was a thing for a long time. I used to go around, hey, you're fired. Oh, Donald Trump, also. Not until he started talking about Obama is when people started saying something about him. And then when he became president, now it's like he's a totally different person. He's the same person he's always been. He has never changed. If you speak to his closest people that knew him, they would tell you, Trump has always been that way. It's everything around him that changes. So my thing is, if you can like someone for what they do and separate from who they are, I don't get it. We have a lot of rock and roll people back in the day. Jerry Lee Lewis married his 15-year-old cousin, and he was older, and everybody talked bad about it, and I like Jerry Lee Lewis, piano playing. Don't condone what he did, and that's kind of nasty to me, but that don't take away from his talent. It's like R. Kelly, he freaky and do whatever he did and everything. I still think he one of the greatest. That's why they call him the Pied Piper, because he put on any of his music. People loved him. All black, white, all cultures loved R. Kelly, and same with Michael Jackson. They say he mess with little boys and everything. It don't take away from the talent. So for everybody to shut somebody down for, for their personal life, if everybody knew what everybody actually was like, nobody would like nobody, because there's always something that a person don't like about another person, the reason why they can't be around that person. Even, my buddy I hang around with on a weekend, I can only be around him so long. Because there's things that I don't really particularly care for that he does, and there's things I do that he don't particularly care for. So we can't be around 24/7. Marriages, the only thing on earth they said is supposed to be last forever. Why? Because after a while, you do get on each other's nerves. You do need time by yourself. If everybody is enjoying life, taking care of their business, like I said, as long as I'm here in the States, I got to make money to take care of what I'm doing. Now, if I go to another country where your concept is the way of life, then I could change.
See, that's the thing. The country is a concept. Like, there's people that are enforcing the concept, but I plan on changing the concept. Like the fact that, like, we're being held by laws created by dead white men that didn't have internet. That baffles me. And like, yes, we expanded upon their rules, but the way of thinking that they had was limited, and it's limited the rest of our lives. Like, there's it's like, it may not seem weird or like, if you don't think about it, it doesn't seem weird, but like, does it not seem weird that like there's no such thing as like community gardens? Like, you can't just like, there's nowhere right now where you could just walk and grab food for free, or like learn how to grow your food, or like why like all our education systems make it so you can't live off the earth. Like you should be able to just walk through a forest and grab food that's healthy. Like, we have the information, but they don't teach it to us. That's one thing I want to change. But electricity and stuff, that's really just, burning fossil fuels. We just find a way to change that. That's not anything we need the government for. We can come up with that ourselves. Like, I want to make Huntsville like the blueprint of living, like doing what you want, and then like, yeah, there will be like the Huntsville government where like, if you don't know what you want to do, you join the government and like, oh yeah, we need you to do so and so. But if you know what you want to do, like, you don't gotta like join the system that the world has built just to like go about your business. Like, if you want to study to be a doctor, just learn the stuff online and then go to like, not like the actual stuff, like the stuff that takes repetition, like, on people that, you do need to actually need a mentor. But like the actual information, no reason you need to spend 12 years doing that when only probably like 4 of that is on an actual human. Like,
Yeah.
we've strayed too much from like stuff being what it is, and it's what people say it is.
Well, I could tell you this, Brandon. If that time ever comes where you can change the world or change this area to where you think you could change it to, you'll be like that book I wrote, The Modern Day Job. Now, in the story of Job, he was, mad because he lost everything, and he's hollering out there and, sitting out there in ashes and clothes all torn out there in the woods, just tore up. Friends had to come talk to him. If that was nowadays, they would have locked him up because they'd be like, man, this dude crazy. He lost everything. He lost his wife, his kids, his crop, all his money. He done gone crazy, man. Now he have to run down the street. We got to see what's going on in his head. And they would lock him up. He'll end up going to the nut hut. That's what they're going to do to you. Yeah. If you keep talking this way. If you keep talking this way.
They're going to attempt. I mean, yeah, they would probably try to frame me.
Yeah, they're going to try. There's going to be, especially if you
I'm too good at talking in reality to... But like, yeah, I could talk in the reality I want it to be, but I know what this reality is, so you can't make me seem like I'm stupid. Like, I could say something that seems weird, but like, you can be like, oh, he's crazy. I'm like, what do you mean I'm crazy? Ask me a question, I'll answer it regularly. And they're like, it's like, you can't make me seem stupid. Cause like,
and then they'll pull up that Jesus Christ Superstar video.
Everybody's having a little fun.
That's hilarious. But what I'm saying is, when you do that, there's going to be a group of people, just like how they attacked Obama, they attacked Trump, they attacked all these other people that they took down. That you like, everybody praised them for taking down certain people, but then you look back at what they were doing. They've been doing it for 20, 30 years. It took y'all this long to take this dude down. Everybody knew it. They got pictures of the one dude ended up dying, getting killed in the prison, and say died in prison. But in reality, yeah, he probably had some stuff on a lot of prominent people that was going visit, going to his island, doing all this stuff that nobody said nothing about, and they took care of him. That's what they do to people who find a lick. Like they said, there's a cure for cancer and all stuff like that, but they be taking them jokers out.
You know, one thing that keeps me safe though, I think the world is about, like, one thing that I want to preach is doing what you want and leaving other people alone. So like, I'm kind of hoping that like they see that, like, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. Like, unless, like, for some reason you want to run this broken, weird government we have and control all these random parts thrown together, then maybe I might be stepping on your toes. But, like, to me, I'm just trying to make it so that, like, I don't have to think about anybody else to do what I want to do in the world unless I
But
want
how
to
would you?
do something.
My thing is, how would you survive? How would you take care of a place to live? How would you take all that stuff that you could do is fine, but because you're here in the United States, it's not like you in a foreign country where there's vast lands where you could just go pitch a tent somewhere. And
They make it
nobody
seem
bother
like
you.
it isn't, but the United States is huge. There's
Oh,
lots
yeah,
of space. They made us think that like, oh, you have to be in this. Like you have to buy. Like imagine if everyone who knew anything or how to run a government died right now. Like what would happen is you go talk to your neighbors like, hey, you know how to do so and so. I got so and so problems. It would just everyone would just come together and like fix each other's problems, and like the government that I think will build with the internet we have today wouldn't be the government we have today. It would be I'm doing my own. Like there would be like an area where like yeah, there's like group problems. So like you go here if you want to like this group will fix the group problems, but like other than that, you mind your own business. It's not like we're
But you still
feeding the
haven't-
group to fix the group problems.
But what I'm still saying is, how would you take care of yourself? How would you pay for your water bill, your light bill? I'm not even talking about food because you can get food anywhere, but I'm
Yeah.
talking about shelter, transportation. How would you take care of all that? Transportation and housing. Those things you need money for. You gonna need it. Then
You don't
get
need
a
money.
car.
You need water. You need
What-
food.
Food you could get, like I said, you go if you can walk anywhere. You could get. They got samples of food and stuff you can eat all over. People give you food. People buy you food. So
That's what I'm saying. Like they tricked you into thinking food is something you got to go get. Like food should be
Yeah.
like it should be we've strayed too far from the world being what it was. Like food should just be a thing. Like I should go out see a squirrel, like dinner, boom. That's what the world should be.
You can still do
I mean,
that
yeah,
now.
but
I ain't
that's
eating
just
no
squirrel.
squirrel.
I was just saying there should be other animals. We just like deer, like we still do it with deer, but like there should be like the amount of like animals we see running around. There should be like fruit trees and stuff, but like they've made it so you can't get food anywhere, so you have to go somewhere to get food. So you have to get money to do that thing, as opposed to just it's like if you threw some seeds at some fruit trees just out in your yard. Next year you will have some fruit and not even do anything. That's how easy it is to grow food, but they make it seem like it's not. Water's a little harder because you either have to dig or like do some contraption to collect the water, but like you can still just go get the water.
Yeah, but yeah, I see what you're saying too and everything. But again, the way the United States is built, you have to go out to do that kind of stuff because even if you find you a land far from everybody and you try to build you something on it, you got to pay for that land. There's nothing free here. You can't. You will have to pay for the land, so you're gonna need money to pay for it. Now that's why I say
I don't think well.
And the thing is,
You think the state has to pay tax to the United States government? How do you think that works?
I don't know how that works. I just know that every piece of land you own or you rent, just because you renting the apartment you in, the people that own that apartment complex got to pay taxes on the land that the apartment is on.
Yeah, but I just see it as that like because I'm paying someone for the land. So like if I could get like mayor, I don't know because the mayor probably pays the governor. You got to be like 35 to be governor. I don't feel like waiting that long, but.
He said
But like there's an extent of like because like, you can make money. Like money is easy to be made. That's why like because like all you need is a product and someone with money to trade. So like if I could,
and that's the thing. How are you gonna get how are you gonna get a product to trade to get what you need without getting money to get the product to trade in the first place? If you're a carpenter, you got to pay for the wood. If you're a mechanic, you got to pay for your tools. There's nothing you could. Everything they have it to the point where you need money to do, and then if not, you'll be getting a handout. You get a government assistance. Now you living off the titty of the government. So now you consider what those people be like, oh man, these people don't want to work, they just want free money. You being that, then you definitely ain't gonna get nobody to listen to what you gotta say, because that's the first thing you're gonna pull up. You use government assistance to get where you got. Instead of like Republicans say, pull your bootstraps up and work. You did it the democratic way, and you let the government pay for you to get where you wanted to go.
Well, the way I envision me doing it is becoming mayor first, and then after I become mayor, well, I don't personally want to become mayor. I won't get someone else to become mayor just because, like, you know,
Just
legally bound. Because if you're mayor, you're legally bound to be mayor. Like, I don't want to be mayor. I just want the world to work. But first become mayor, and then see, like, I'd have to see like what actually what I have to pay, like who I have to pay. Because like if I don't have to pay the government anything, then I could just operate. But like if we're paying taxes on whatever land Huntsville owns, then I probably have to. And then there's lots of things you could do to come up with money because it's any product. If I'm the mayor, I have the reach to get stuff spread out, especially the internet. I can get enough people to share. That'll get all over the world, or just Huntsville sharing it. You know, we got people all over the world, so
Well,
you can make money pretty fast. It's like that's why that's why I say like money isn't like a real thing, especially with the internet. Because like if you want money, if you have enough connections, you can make money easy. Like you just have to have like a monetized something where like a website or something where like a view or like a person means something. But like,
I'm not laughing at you with that, man. It's just that's the funniest video you ever made, man. I watched that in bed last night, man. I'm sorry, folks. I know we just talking about his concept of how the world should be, and you know, white and black relationships. This is just an example. If you got through this far of this podcast, you know,
I don't even think it's supposed to be the podcast. This was just to be responded to him, but
well,
we got a lot of conversation now, so I don't know. Probably make it a podcast.
we could chop it up then.
Yeah, probably make it a couple videos. We did bring. Oh, I don't know. Maybe we could do. Yeah, we'd make it. I don't know.
Because we had 54 minutes.
Yeah, probably do like 2 parts, like responding to him. So part 1, part 2.
Okay.
But
yeah, if you got through, I'm just letting you know, people that's watching this, you probably hear his view on things and like, how did that father raise him to do that? And you looking at me and wondering, what the heck is going on? But this is the perfect example. If you hear my point of views on things, his point of view on things, and everything that I've done through life, good or bad, I've told my children about. I showed them the areas where, you know, we was in the area where certain things took place. Relationships, all that stuff. I had 3 wives. All of them was black. But you hear his view on white women. Now, I had white girlfriends before. But the world is all about choices. This is a perfect example. If you hear all of this, and I mean, he's book smarter than I am or ever will be. I mean, you know, he always, you know, straight A student, got his bachelor's degree, computer science, all that stuff. He has his degree. I should be borrowing money from him, but because of his thinking, he'll probably borrow money from me till the day I die. But that's just a concept. So a lot of people try to say, you know, some of it is the parents, but the bulk of the information on how children and, you know, young adults become adults is the decisions that they choose to make along the way. They watch everything we do, they hear what we say, but they pay attention to what we do. And that's what they gravitate towards. Part of the relationship that he has with me, but most of it is from his surroundings, from where he was reared, where he grew up at, stuff like that. That's where he picked most stuff up in the friendships he built along the way. So that's basically how that is. Now, will he be like this forever? I don't think so. I mean,
actually, my personality, because I was like that, but I had a personality swap where, like, because I realized, like, you are your perspective, like, all the things you've experienced. And then, like, once I realized that, I was like, kind of like shifting my, like, yeah, I'm still have, like, the experiences I had. But, like, when I see something, I don't see it through the lens of my experiences. I just view it through, like, the view of infinite lens. Like this could literally be anything. Like, yeah, there's our reality where, like, there's, like, if I need to, like, for sure, like if I had to give you an answer about what this is, I'd be like, through my experiences, like, in this reality, like, this is a mic. But, like, within infinity, this could be anything. So, like, if I'm looking at it myself, I don't classify it as anything. It's just a thing until, like, I need to classify it, like, it is a mic. That's how I view things now. So, like,
oh wait.
that's how I feel like everybody. I feel like everybody's moving towards, or not towards that, but, like, towards less classifying things. And I want everybody to move towards, like, thinking towards infinity, because I feel like, I mean, everything's within infinity. Because, like, if we are within an infinity, then, like, you know, there's everything, and we just gotta go get it.
Yeah. And it's funny that you said that when you talk about the mic. Because the more I talk to them, this is what you do in father and son relationships. You got to spend time with each other just to hear them out. Don't always try to keep pouring in them. You know, he got enough in him now. You need to see what he got in him. You know, you put a lot of water in there, but you don't know if he got Kool-Aid packets in there, tea packets, hot chocolate. You poured enough water. Let's see what you done poured it into. Let's see what it turned into. Because I remember, and I can't remember the last time I told you, but I used to tell everybody this. When he was younger, I should have known his mind would go crooked like this anyway. But when he was younger, I would tell him, "Hey, boy, go turn the light on in there." And he'll go turn the light on. I'd be like, "Brandon." And I'll see the light go on, light go off. Light go on, light go off. I'm like, "What is that boy doing?" I come over there and I grab, "Boy, what you doing?" He said, "I turned down the light." I said, "Yeah, just turn the light and just come on." And he would look at it, he was like, "How does that happen?" And I'm in my thinking, "Boy, you turn the switch on, the light come on." He was so fascinated and wanted to know how by turning this little switch that bulb come on. So he kept turning on and he was figuring out how is it actually come. That's how his mind was thinking at 3-4 years old. And at the time, I just thought, what's wrong with this boy? I'm going to have to put him in. I thought something was wrong with him. But he grew up. That was your thinking. The earliest thing I can remember you doing was that light switch. I would tell everybody. I never knew how smart he was going to be until he proved it when he got older. But at that time, to me, I thought something was wrong with him. Turn the light switch on. And how many kids you know turn the light switch on and sit there like, man, there's got to be a reason. What is making this take over? That's why his brain was working back then. But to me, I thought something was wrong with it. So I didn't foster it. I try to dim it. Boy, shut your mouth doing all that stuff. Get out there.
That's why I think they say kids are so creative, because, like, they don't define anything. Like, the world is here, but, like, nothing has to be something until it is something to a kid. So, like, they'll just go out and have fun because, like, nothing is anything until, like, something, like, you know, something scares them, or, like, something immediately happens to them where, like, they have to think about it. But, like, the more you grow up, because, like, you know, you're taught to, like, oh, look a certain way so people don't think this about you, do certain things so you don't stand out of place, and, like, all those, like, certain things put locks on, like, the way you think. So, like, you can't just be. You're like an altered thing as opposed to just being in the world. And that's why most people are, and that's why I want to change. Like, I want people to just be themselves. Like, yeah, there's, like, reasons for it, but, like, I want you to have a reason for it, not just, like, I've always done it, so that's how I am.
The older folks, there's still generations and upon generations that have to die off for that concept to take place.
I only think about 2 or 3 to be like, probably like a good 100 years. I think about 100 years. Like, the internet, it's allowed us to think in terms of like more infinite. Like it allowed us to see infinity more because like for all of human what time all of human time I don't know human time. There's a word I'm looking for. Human error. Human. As long as it's been humans. Human existence, maybe. Yeah. Or at least as far as we know. If you need, like, information, you had to. I mean, like, information is always, like, right here, like, physical. Like, that got moved. But with the internet, I can move that 1,000 times without ever moving. Or, like, see it move. And I can learn the physics without ever. So, like, I can learn the infinite of things without actually having to participate in infinity.
Because you're right about that. It might, yeah. I'll say 100 years because when you think of just speaking history, when I was going through grade school, we read those history books. We learned this. We learned the same people from Black History Month. How the slaves came over on the boat, the same pictures in the boat, or how they was in the boat, and how the Mayflower came over Thanksgiving, and we doing all that, and that was basically in Columbus Day. Discovered America. We for years we did that. Not till as of late, when they started accepting the concept of how did Columbus discover something that was already there. He just found it, but it's been there all along. People been living here long ago. How somebody will come and just take their land and force them to do certain things? They just now starting to get the concept of, the history books being written, all the history that's been passed along by all the conquerors. Everybody that conquered and everybody that won. That's the side we see from. Some of the greatest movies that's been made are movies that have duality, and which mean they show both sides of what you're watching. So you think you're watching the protagonist, but then you end up understanding the antagonist because they show you both sides of it, not just little bits and pieces of one and all the other. So the one that's being bullied, you end up caring for, and the one that's bullying, you understand why he's bullying, but you see both sides of it, and then you choose at the end who was right or wrong. That's how history should be, but they don't do that. But they just now got that concept. But for years, all we knew was Columbus. Hey, they even changed the Columbus Day. Everybody used to get out. They changed the name of it. Was it Indigenous Day or something like that? They called it.
I think so.
I mean, and that's just as of late. So things could change. You just gotta get more and more people to get that concept, and the older people to die off. That's never gonna change.
Yeah, because everybody is the same. Like everybody is nothing until they want to be something.
And you call me nothing?
They have reasons for being something. Like I have everything I've built up until now, and like the thought paths I've already had. That's why I want to do stuff I want to do. But like, if like for whatever reason, like say superpowers, like everyone got superpowers right now, immediately my plans for the future would change. So I would change. Like, not all the way because I still have my past, so like I still have that lens I could view through. But like, I won't like. Why would I gotta go to work if I can create money in my hand? So then like I'll start doing things differently, and that would just shift who I am as a person just because I'm doing things because I have the ability to do things.
So from your thinking, I'm thinking that you have to figure out a way to use when we talk currency, and I always say cash and time is currency. You don't want to use cash to get where you want to go. You want to use your time as currency.
Well, I do think we do need some type of currency, like
now
cash.
somebody wants some money now.
Well, because like money is supposed to be an assistant, not like the end all be all. Like our country runs on money, it's not assisted by money. So like you should be able to live in this house and never make any money because well, you bought it, so like you need the money to buy it. It's like, but after you bought it, like it's your house. Like you shouldn't have to keep making money to the house you bought.
And that's the funny thing about that too. once we pay the house off, we still gotta pay property taxes every year. That never ends.
And that's what I'm saying. Like that shouldn't be like
Well,
once you
not
have
for me because I'm a veteran, so I don't gotta pay taxes.
once you bought the land, like it should be your land. Like unless like actual reasons happen, like maybe like we get overpopulated and like they need to like you need to buy like shorten your land or something. But, like until like we actually run out of land, there's no reason for you to have to like pay extra or like pay because like you bought the house. Like yeah, you need to work for like I mean unless you like know how to grow food, you need to work for extra stuff. But like if you know how to live, you should just be able to live.
Well, the land taxes, goes for infrastructure and roads and all that stuff. So so it makes sure that they have the money and budget to take care of the roads. Now, if we went back, if we didn't have our driveway painted, paved, if we didn't have no cement and it was just dirt road, the house would be cheaper. But just because you have that, that's why you go to some people's houses in the country and they don't know, they just have that dirt road and little 2-tire tracks because they keep going. It's cheap that way. If they were to put concrete there, they have to pay more each year on that because now it's worth more.
Yeah, I think the money system we have now is really just like a pyramid scheme. Like it's about making the people who know how to make money be at the top, and everyone else is at the bottom. But like the money system we should have is everyone's just equal, and like if you want to play the money game, you can create a product and then play the money game by like getting the product out. But like the way it is now, you can make money a product. Like things that shouldn't be products.
It's too many people to do that. You have to start a city and invite folks in that way. Because right now there's too many people that don't have anything, and then a lot of people that have a lot of it, and they wouldn't play that game because it's like, what does he has to offer? What am I giving up to start back at zero? He's already at zero. So why?
I don't think it would start at zero, but like, I was thinking have a Huntsville currency, and that like translates to outside of Huntsville. But like, the Huntsville currency would go towards like stuff that's actually made in Huntsville that we have we know how hard it was to make and how much we have. So how like there's actual reason for what that costs, as opposed to like, it took the chickens were sick, so eggs are $5. Like that's a weird thing. Like I would want us to shift towards everything have an actual reason as opposed to just money being the reason. Like it would cost more money, that's why it's more expensive. Like what?
Yeah. Well, we go on and on about this, man. Go and close us out, man, so we get on up out of here.
Yeah, I'm Nick of Time.
Oh, that's how you going to do it?
I can't go on and on. I got lots of plans.
Well, we'll talk to y'all a little bit more. We have to see how we're going to chop this up. Yeah. But yeah,
we got way off topic.
Yeah, this is could just put it into a podcast. But yeah, this is the House of Time, More Time podcast, however you want to say it. It's father and son connection here. Just going through life, enjoying life, trying to figure out where I went wrong raising him. And seeing his way of thinking, seeing if it'll work. I'm waiting for him to give me some things to do to see about what I could do. He's talking about stuff that he could do, but we'll see about that. But anyways, man, this is the House of Time. We're going to get up out of here. And you got your two hosts here, Father and Son, and I'm G-Time.
And I'm Nick of Time.
And we will see you next time. Or rather, I keep saying that. You'll see us next time.
Unless.
Another one of your concepts.